Welcome to FurCast episode 356. I'm your host this evening, Paradox the Red Wolf.
Woo! I'm Nico.
Why did you do that?
Because
Okay, I'm Areo. Hi.
Thanks for joining, guys.
Thanks for. What do you mean? Thanks for joining.
I don't know. It's one of those weird things where, like, I say to people sometimes, I'm like, hey, thanks for being my friend. And they're like,
It's like,
am I supposed to not be your friend? And I'm like, no, I'm just, like, I don't know.
thank you. And it's like I really did nothing.
Yeah, it's like I'm kind of just here.
I came up the stairs.
It's like I'm here because I like you. I didn't do anything.
Well, to be fair, you not only came up the stairs, you came from your vacation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in Florida.
How was your vacation?
It was like mid-80s the entire time,
It was not actually warm.
except for yesterday. Yesterday was cold.
So for this past entire week, it has been below freezing here. Like, the high temperature in our region is still below freezing.
Yeah, this is the coldest week we've had individually
so
since
glad I was-
November.
It was record high for like the entire time in Florida.
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
I wore t-shirt, shorts, and sandals the entire time.
You were wearing sandals when it was 50 out still.
Yeah. Yesterday was like the top was 50, and I was still wearing sandals.
Yeah, so don't eat.
I was wearing sandals and a sweatshirt.
It doesn't take much to get a Buffalonian in shorts and sandals.
Yeah.
It takes the snow melting. That's it.
So anyway, well, while you guys were, well, Nico was on vacation.
It was nice.
Yeah. I used that time that we were off this past week to rewire the entire damn studio. So it might not look like it on camera because this is actually mostly the part that stayed the same. But out in our lounge, we used to have like a big pile of gear rack stuff, and all of that got moved into the server room, and we reran all the wires. There's no HDMI anymore. Everything's SDI. Everything is Cat6 and RG6, and it's really nice. I was posting photos online. They're nice bundles of cable and everything. By the way, I have a Telegram channel called XBN Studio Build, and that's where I post like photos and videos and stuff like that of some of the stuff that we work on in the studio. And I don't usually like to talk too much of the tech stuff on this show, of course, but I am going to be posting a video on my YouTube channel that does. So a quick little excerpt of that here. It's 2 hours until show. I figure I should probably film a short little video for B-roll on the show and also for the internet. So this is going to be a long, rambly video, mostly technical stuff, but I just kind of want to go over some of the changes that we made recently, because we moved a bunch of stuff around, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Any comments, leave them down below. And I'm just filming this with my phone, so hopefully it turns out okay. And I'm just going to spin around here. And so I kind of went through and toured through the studio, but not only that, but also out in the lounge, which I walk into here. So our lounge is nice and clean now. It's actually kind of like a little eerie. It's a little too clean, by some people, or by Nico's opinion.
Oh, I really just wanted to comment comments down below. I was going to write a post-it note and just stick it underneath your desk.
Paradox, I gotta say,
it's down below.
My left ear really liked that intro.
Oh, it was because
too.
I was holding my
No,
phone.
I know.
It covers the mic on that part. But yeah.
My left ear also enjoyed it. I actually thought my mic was fucked up. And
I did too, and then I was
checked it, am I in all the way?
But there's the server room, by the
way.
way, and there's the new gear rack, and there's all the cabling, and so like I said, this will be a video on YouTube if people want to check it out. But yeah, that's pretty much that. And then the only other thing to mention for the beginning of the show is we have a new chat bot in our Telegram group. So, for those who've never joined our Telegram channel, which you should totally do, FurCast FM, we have 24/7, 365. There are people in there chatting because there are people in all regions. We have a rule in that chat that you can post adult content, but just you have to turn off the preview just so the image doesn't show up. That way, if people are using the chat at work or in class or something like that, that stuff doesn't show up. And that's pretty easy to do. When you post stuff, you just click a little button and then the preview doesn't show up. But let's say you just want to post something on your phone, right? Let's say I just took a picture and I'm like, oh, it's not really safe for work. And then it's I got to upload it somewhere to get it to a link. Now we have a bot, and it's called FurCast bot, as an @FurCast bot. And literally all you do is you just send it NSFW shit. And what it does is it cross-posts it in the FurCast chat, but it's just a link, not an image.
For when you want to send those scandalous ankle pics.
Yeah. So makes it easier if you're on a mobile device to send NSFW stuff. So that way, if people want to send lewds of themselves or furry porn or whatever, you can do so. But then if people don't want to see it, or if people are at work, or if people are in class, or if they've got it up on a computer screen or something like that, and there's people walking around them, you don't got to worry about it because it's just text on a screen. There's no image. So if anybody has any issues with that, please do let us know. We just kind of came out with it. I should also mention, it's a bit of a beta test. We're not like 100% gung-ho about it. We don't know if it's going to work perfectly. And we also tried to write our rules to be like really inclusive and not like, kink shame. There's a few things where it's like, there's a few things that are illegal and also like blood and gore. We don't really want blood and gore. But besides those things, we tried to make it as like open as possible. But if anybody has any questions about the rules or any comments about the rules, do bring that up with our moderation team. We are definitely up to discuss them with you if you have any suggestions.
I have a question about a rule.
Yeah, what?
What's a rule?
Good question.
Wow.
I don't know. But those are on the website. Like I said, we've tried to make them. The rules haven't really changed at all in quite a while, and nobody seems to have an issue with them. But definitely, just like if you have any comments or questions on that, you can check that out. And then the last thing to mention before we jump into the roundup is there are going to be new types of FurCast episodes soon. So you might notice that all of our episodes say bracket live bracket on them. That's because these are our live episodes, but we're going to have not live episodes at some point.
Dead episodes.
No. They're going to be like, I'm going to do a tech show. We're going to do like an interview show and a couple of other things. But those are going to be coming out soon. So stay tuned for that.
Wow.
And that's pretty much it. Unless any of you guys have any other stuff to mention about the week. I pretty much like got cabin fever because I was just cooped up like rewiring the studio with
And you
Feyre.
had no one to bitch to.
Yeah, because you were gone. Although people did visit, like Bull visited and helped.
Yeah, we hung out a couple times.
Maruski visited and helped a little bit, run cables and stuff. And
I had such a garbage week.
oh,
I'm not going to go into why, just because I'm not going to go into why. But it was not good. So I kind of shut myself out after I hung out with you. But I had a nice time hanging out with you.
yay! Well, are you feeling better now?
Yeah, better than I was. Not like tip-top shape, but better.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Because I like when you're a happy.
Yeah, I like it too.
You're like one of the. You're one of those people that like I love when I see you happy.
Aw.
Like when I saw you in the pup hub the one time, I was like, oh, like,
I
you were
was
so happy.
I was giddy. I always get giddy when I wear it. It was funny during the one of the hardest parts of the week. I just kind of put it on and I laid in bed, and it was so nice. I don't know why. It just gets me happy.
Yeah. All right. Shall we jump in?
No,
Okay.
where are we jumping?
Into the roundup.
The roundup,
I don't know. Do we jump into the roundup or do we like whip it into the roundup?
or do we nicely waltz into the roundup?
Yeah, probably that. I don't know.
I jumped into a pool yesterday.
You jumped into a pool. What was it filled with?
Water.
Aw, damn.
I gotta get used
Probably
to
some
this.
kid pee in there.
Because we rehooked up the studio, some of these buttons are different, so I have to get used to hitting that one when it's those guys talking. And then this
I'm
one
hidden
for that.
behind the microphone.
Yeah.
No one shall see my face.
All right. Welcome to the Roundup. The Roundup is the segment where we throw a bunch of fucking links at you. And it's basically our news segment, except it's like rapid fire. And also it's really huge. So to be honest, we might just kind of spread this out through the whole show because
I'm just by the way, when you said throw a bunch of links at you, now I just want you to have a pile of papers that have all the links and just go whoosh.
I'm going to do that now.
Good.
I'm just have like a pile and just
We're going to throw a bunch of fucking
Roundup.
And they all are links to actual fucking.
Okay. So we got a bunch of stuff in the roundup. Some of it is relevant to some of you. Some of it is not. There's a bunch of furry stuff in there. There's a bunch of stuff that happened this week and last week. So let's jump right in with something completely kind of dumb. Just a funny article. Cuddling with your partner does something very surprising to your health. Wow, who knew? A neat little article there. Next, Half-Life Alyx announcement has been made. It's going to be coming out on March 23rd, 2020. And they were tweeting about that. That's the whole VR version of Half-Life that I am super excited about. So I figured I'd mention that. Next, this is an interesting one from City Paper Pittsburgh. Anthrocon is hosting student art competitions this year and is looking for entries. I could see this being maybe not controversial. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? They're actually going to invite like, I guess, kids from schools to compete. The goal is to let each child artistic strength and vision to be seen. Every young child can create something that may, yeah. So, I mean, like, it seems pretty cool.
I don't know.
It's a little-
It could be fun. It could not. Odds are what's going to happen is no one's just going to care.
Well,
Someone will be like, "Aw," that's it.
I think it's one of those things, of all the cons to do something like this, Anthrocon is probably
Yeah.
the best con. Because Anthrocon is like, that's their whole MO, right? Is like making furry family friendly and making it like very public. And some people like that and some people don't, because some people are like, I go here to be myself, not to show off. And it's like, that is totally fair. But
Yeah.
also, you know, Anthrocon's doing good things, I guess. So that's pretty cool. Next, another stupid article. PSA, your dentist might be able to tell that you recently sucked a dick.
Oh.
According to a recent and extremely compelling case study performed by a team of dentists in Mexico, a 42-year-old man has a circular wound on the roof of his mouth after sucking too much dick, proving that you... Okay. Well, anyway, next. In the Roundup...
My dentist would know a lot.
FurFinity was down because
no.
they got hit by a really bad DDoS attack, and apparently that DDoS attack was so bad that their provider had to null route the address going into the data center because it was actually affecting other customers in the data center. Yeah, they have moved their back end, and they are now back up. They say they are working to improve stability, and they seem to be back up now. So I went and I was very excited to check my Weasel and my SoFurry and my Ink Bunny, all of which had like 2 submissions. But yeah, FA is back, so that's great.
Yeah.
Actually, Weasel and Ink Bunny, or not, sorry. Ink Bunny and SoFurry actually do a pretty good job with stories, especially SoFurry. SoFurry is very story-oriented, I've noticed. That's like the main thing that people do on that site. Next. This is a pretty cool music video involving a fursuiter, and I believe it's a French music video. And it was pretty cool. And the fursuiter that, or the owner of the suit, actually tweeted that they were the ones who kind of rented out their fursuit to this production company so they could produce it. And it's a music video for a French artist called Basta, or B-A-S-A-D-A, or Basida. I'm of course probably not pronouncing that correctly, but that's the way the letters are spelled. If anybody wants to look it up. And next. Beastars is about to make it to Netflix. Netflix has announced that it's going to be on March 13th, and it looks super awesome.
小さなウサギと自分の本能だった。お前はどうして自分の強さに責任を持たないんだ。
I cannot wait. It's going to be so good. And we also have an announcement that Ben Diskin, who was, by the way, recently a guest of honor at AC for voicing...
Wasn't it Haida?
I think it was Haida, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was. Ben tweeted, I can finally announce that I am indeed a very good boy, Jack, in the English dub of Beastars. So that is going to be awesome. So shout out to Ben for that. Of course, everybody's freaking out because tons of furries follow him because he's basically a furry now. We converted him. Next, this is just another article about Beastars, and then the actual tweet from Netflix about Beastars. Next, this website says they value my privacy. Okay, cool. Some Twitch streamer was kicked out of NFC for live streaming it, I guess. Yeah, made a trip to Nordic FuzzCon for revision. Okay, I don't know. If anybody wants to read that, there you go. It's in the Roundup. Next, Staples is opening podcast studios in 6 Boston stores. Okay. So you're going to be able to go to a Staples and, like, you know how you can, like, they have copy machines that you can, like, rent time on, and they have, like, a photo area that you can rent time on?
Yeah.
Well, now they're going to have podcast studios that you can like rent time to produce a podcast, and they'll apparently have experts that will help you. So for everybody who asks me how to start a podcast, there you go. Go to Staples.
Go to Staples, not me.
But yeah, this looks interesting. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Next, Boy Scouts of America has declared bankruptcy. Or more specifically, they filed for bankruptcy protection. So they're not, well, I guess that is technically bankruptcy. But it is Chapter 2 bankruptcy. There we go. I had to go find that in the article. So they'll still be around, but it is mainly because of sex abuse lawsuits. So yeah, that's great. I don't know. I feel like, were either of you guys in Boy Scouts?
I was in Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
I was in Cub Scouts.
Like I wasn't okay, I was in Cub Scouts, but I was in it for a solid 4 years.
I was in Cub Scouts for less than a year. Then the scout leader got arrested.
Oh yeah.
What kind of charges?
Pedophilia.
And that's why they're going bankrupt.
That's why they're going bankrupt. Wow. Who'd have thought? I love this article too. In the subtext, it says the venerable nonprofit is following the lead of the scandal-racked Roman Catholic Church.
Well, a lot of them are tied to churches and like religion.
Really?
Yeah, when I was in Cub Scouts, they made me like pray to God.
Huh. I don't remember having to do that, but
And 2 of the local Cub Scout troops were at the church that's on Union and at Queen of Heaven.
okay.
Both those churches had Cub Scout troops.
Okay,
Like
interesting.
a lot of churches were the ones who were like the hosting places for those, and there was a lot of like prayers.
That's interesting because when I was in Cub Scouts, I remember doing we had to do like the race car things.
We did that
like
too.
learn how to like start a fire in the woods kind of thing. It was
It was like here,
Yeah.
have all this scouty stuff, and also religion.
and also Jesus.
Yeah, it's funny how they sneak it into a lot of things like that, like
And
Veggie Tales.
and also-
a lot of Veggie Tales.
And also, come here, Billy. Anyway, so the News and Observer has an article. Red wolves are doing good. It says love is in the air, and red wolf conservationists are taking note. And it's a video about red wolves, and they're doing good.
Excited. We've got a family of 10. We had 6 pups born just over 5 weeks ago, so they're out and about and starting to walk around. Curled up in that hollow log is one of the pups, born just about 5. Yep. Pups, usually they're born and they're fairly immobile. They don't move on their own until about 3 weeks old. So any movement they do before 2.5 weeks is in the mouth of their mother. And when they hit 3 weeks old, they start to wobble a little. You know, they don't fully have their feet underneath them. But by 4 weeks old, they're walking more. And we're here just between 5 and 6 weeks old,
Watch
so
it jump,
they're
watch him
getting
jump.
more adventure.
Watch him do the little jump. He's so cute. He's going to try it. Oh, no. They are adorable. But anyway, so for those who don't know, there are more red wolf furries than there are actual red wolves.
Wait, actually?
Yes. So this is good that there's more red wolves now. Because apparently red wolves need to fuck.
Well, why don't you just paint all the wolves red? That's how you make red wolves, right?
Thanks, Nico.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, thanks.
Hi.
Next, this is from Hard Drive Mag, or thehardtimes.net. For those that don't know, Hard Times is like, it's sort of like The Onion or like Beaverton, where it's like parody news.
Where it's like bullshit news
It's
that's meant to
like-
make you smile and be like, heh.
It's like, eh. So they put an article that says, Big Game Hunter Convention planned suspiciously close to Furry Convention. They do good shit. I really like Hard Drive. They do a good job. Next, Mersuiters are to feature on Valentine's Day. Whoops, missed that. Episode of Extreme Love on WeTV. And they have an article about it and video about it. And yeah, it was, by the way, that's Freya, I believe. And they featured on the episode. And it seemed pretty cool. Let's see if I can play a section of it.
When both of us enjoy engaging in somewhat frisky activities while we're wearing our suits.
I hung out with her.
Something
all
that a
this
very
week.
small
really?
subgroup of
Yeah.
furries are into, and we happen to be part of that small subgroup.
I was curious about the sexual aspect, to be honest, and it felt kind of rebellious because it goes against everyone's view of a furry.
So there you go. You guys can check that out. It seemed pretty cool. It seemed
I
like a
didn't know
good-
she was on that.
Yeah. That's awesome. Then this is pretty cool. This is from Attaboy on Twitter. So Attaboy was recently all over the news for this photo shoot where they ended up with another person shaking their hand.
This wasn't recent. I talked about this a couple episodes back.
Well, this was a couple episodes back, but there's more now. So this was the photo shoot where he was in fursuit but wearing one of those attachable sheaths on the fursuit. So, of course, people talked about that. But turns out they are doing an art exhibit that's really cool. And they actually made another tweet that said, "Mark your calendars. I'm excited to announce my MFA thesis exhibition." Exhibition coming this spring in Albuquerque, New Mexico. In particular, I'd love for folks to put the Stay Soft dance party performance on their radars. Can't wait to share more with you. So it's part of like their thesis art project to do this whole thing. But they also wrote like a Medium post on Sunset at the Drury Plaza Hotel and being a deviant in public. And it just seems awesome. Seems like a really cool guy. Highly recommend checking that out. Next, Telegram updates. Telegram, this was actually a while ago, but they redesigned the profile pages, I guess. It's like when you click somebody's profile, it's all full screen now and everything, and you can see the media. And you can flip through photos a lot easier. There's the whole people nearby thing, which is interesting. It's kind of funny to use that at FurryCons. And new animated emoji, which I disable. I don't know about you guys.
You can disable it?
Yes.
Oh my god, where?
Yeah,
settings? Hold on,
Settings.
settings. I'm assuming appearance.
Yeah, appearance. I always turn those off. It pisses me off so much.
I'm doing that now. I have to.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Next in the roundup, we're getting towards the end here. Apparently, Trump reportedly spent many important policy meetings grilling Reince Priebus about badgers. And there's a bunch of quotes that are really funny where he was like, badgers, like, where do they live? Like, do they like people? Are they nice? Like, what do they eat? And he like just kept asking all these questions. So this other person was just answering these questions, trying to gently veer the conversation back to whether we were going to do a troop surge in Afghanistan or strip millions of Americans of healthcare coverage. Great. And then it goes into the rest of the politics about it. But it was, apparently he was, apparently Trump doesn't know about badgers and had to ask about them. Yeah, apparently he doesn't know much about animals. Next, furry convention coming to Crystal City. This is just an article from Arl now, which I would assume means Arlington now. But it's an article about Furthermore, so if anybody wants to check that out, you can check that out. Next, shout out to Mark's Barks for raising $15,000 for ALS on his YouTube channel. It's pretty freaking awesome. And they hit their $15,000 goal. And there was another day to contribute, apparently. Shout out to Tanner Rue, who left that comment on Flayraw. So there's that. Next, there's going to be a live-action Lilo and Stitch. Apparently.
Yeah. But only for Disney+.
Only for Disney+? Oh.
It's okay, I have it.
Oh, I didn't notice that. It's going to be exclusive.
It's okay because I'm gonna get it. Okay, Nico.
I mean, I already have it.
I know, but I'm saying
No, because that means I can share it with him.
Okay.
Yes, I was gonna say clearly to be that asshole, be like, I'm gonna watch it, but you can't.
Nico,
watch
are you
it.
telling me that's not something you would do?
I would do that.
I know. That's why I said it.
I would do that to you though. I'd be like,
What?
I'm gonna watch it.
Why do you feel the need to be a dick to me?
Oh.
Rude.
Anyway.
Anyway.
By the way, I should mention, there's an image that's been circulating around of a really horrifying looking like Stitch that some artist made.
Oh, yeah.
That is not the one from the movie.
I haven't seen it.
I've seen it and it's not.
By the way, Sonic movie.
Yeah.
You guys haven't,
haven't seen
neither
it.
of you.
No, I haven't gotten to see it either.
Tomorrow, we should go see it.
Tomorrow?
I already saw it, and I have to say, I was impressed.
Really?
We'll
Yeah.
have to see one of if I can finish all my work first, and two, I kind of want to go see it with Business Cat. Hi, Business Cat. Yeah.
See, you said that it was like good, but I didn't know that you were like impressed by it.
It was okay. So it's what you would expect for a video game movie, but a lot of movies that are like that are really shitty.
So it's exceptional for a video game movie.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, for instance, the plot is, like, barely there. the individual characters, the character development is okay. But Sonic was great. There's a lot of puns. There's a lot of like clever one-liners and good writing in that regard. Not good like story writing, but good like clever
Comedic
dialogue.
writing?
Yeah, good comedic writing. Also, Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Just straight up. Like, my personal opinion, when Jim Carrey is like the focus of a movie, when he's like crazy and weird,
It's not good.
it's a little too much, in my opinion. But what I like about the Sonic movie was that because he was just like the side evil guy
He's
character.
like that side character that steals your attention you love.
Yes. Because I feel like they just went to him and they're like, oh, you're just the crazy evil guy. Just do it. And he had that like free reign to be like that. And it was fabulous. So if you haven't seen the Sonic movie, I recommend
Would
it.
you say that he helps to carry the movie?
Eh.
Nico, you make puns just as shitty, and you like them.
Yes, but they're my puns.
That doesn't make them any better.
No, it makes them much worse.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
So you guys remember that sinkhole?
No.
Yes, in front of
near
the
AC?
AC
Yes.
hotel.
Yeah, it's
Worse.
It's still there. I have some pictures from Anthrocon staff chat here. And let me just see what we're going through. But Fizz sent these. Shout out to Fizz. Because they're around Anthrocon. Yeah, it's still there. Let's see, there's another one. And then the rest of it was just Fizz saying he was going to Permani Brothers. He had to send that. Of course, he loves Permani Brothers as a restaurant near AC. Yeah, I wonder if they're ever going to really fix that, because I found an article that talked about how long it was going to take to fix, and they said 8 weeks.
And it's been more than 8 weeks.
It has been a lot longer than 8 weeks.
Maybe
since
they
that
meant,
fucking-
maybe they meant 8 weeks since they start working on it. Do you know what I mean? Because they might not want to work on it in the winter.
I don't know. It seems like pretty bad here.
Business Cat just did a good pun, by the way.
What?
He said, when you say we're going to throw a bunch of links at you, he wants you to take like a links, like stickers, and just throw them at people.
8 weeks is how long
I like
the
that
Department
pun.
of Mobility
It's a
and
good pun.
Infrastructure says this is going to take to fix. We'll talk more about that in a second, but they're doing the jackhammering. They're loading dirt into these trucks and hauling them away. If yesterday was about getting the bus out, today marked the beginning of a long and complex fix. As for
That's a good
why
beat.
or how this happened, answers are still in short supply.
It was concerned yesterday about safety.
At this point, it's speculation. Mayor Peduto said it was not the main water line that collapsed.
And the video stopped loading. But I can tell you guys right now, I did read another article, and they said it was related to the way the Westin Hotel, as in the Anthrocon Hotel, was built. It was just something about how they like dug up the foundation of that building. It didn't maintain with the whatever the weight distribution that the road needed, I guess. So somebody fucked up. And then the whole street collapsed. So
Oh my God.
that sounds fun.
So I said I made a pun because of Business Cat, and then Jesse just sent me about 10 links stickers because he just throwed a bunch of links at me.
Well, that's a bunch of linkses.
No, it's just a bunch of links.
Hold on. Is it actually just links?
Oh,
I'm looking it up. It's linkses. I just wanted to be right about
And
something.
it's not. It's not.
I didn't care. I was just saying.
It's linkses.
Linksai.
Links
And he
supposes.
didn't say he's gonna throw a bunch of fucking linkses at you. He didn't say that.
All right. So the last thing in the roundup.
Too many cooks.
The last thing in the roundup is a stupid tweet from PETA, with a bunch of fursuiters beating up a car.
Oh, they're definitely not fursuiters. They're like the Chinese mascot costumes.
Oh yeah,
that they
they're
bought.
like really shitty.
Like these are not people who are furries and they're pro PETA bashing a car.
So the point of this was the whole like, don't leave your dog in the car, and this is just like a trash car that they just got from some. Yeah. So.
Okay,
Thanks.
PETA.
My favorite thing is the SoCal G-Shep replied and said, "Leave us furries out of this." Isn't this the same PETA who boycotted a furry convention because they thought we wore real fur and now they're fursuiters beating up a Chrysler? Yeah.
Someone could have used that car.
No, it was probably just
No,
a
it was
trash
probably
car.
a dead car. Knowing them, yeah.
Maybe.
There's no point to just do that.
PETA. PETA's the point.
PETA?
I like, there's like 3 points of the show. I'm just done.
Why? Why?
Anyway, but yeah, that's the end of the roundup. It was a lot of.
Aren't vacations like supposed to like make you feel rejuvenated and like alive again, and not like somehow somehow more depressed than you were when you left?
I always noticed that like whenever I would go on, back when I used to go on real vacations with my parents.
Yeah.
I don't really do vacations anymore. Now I just go to cons and then I work.
Those are vacations. Cons are vacations.
Not when you have to wake up at 7 a.m. and work on crew. And
That's fair, but
I'm not complaining. I love it.
It's something you
Like,
want to do. It's a part
yeah.
of the vacation. I still think it's a vacation.
It's sort of. It's definitely a like traveling to work and volunteer and do other things. But I always remember whenever I was on those, there was always this feeling during the vacation of like we felt like crap and everything was going wrong, and then we would get home and it was like, oh, that was great, we had so much fun, and like we'd be talking like how good it was, and even though like there were so many moments during the vacation where it's like, oh god, you know, like your family was pissing you off.
There were only a couple of moments I can think of on my last family vacation that were bad. We had been on the bus 2-hour cruise. Like we had already flown in, stayed a night at a hotel, and then we were taking the drive to our cruise ship. And my sister got sick, like sick, but like it was just for that bus ride for some reason. So we think that she like ate something bad, 'cause she doesn't get motion sick ever. But she ended up having like throw up in her shoe. It was,
Fuck that.
it was, well, we were on a bus and she was next to a stranger. So she like pulled off her shoe and into the shoe and walked with one shoe off the bus. Like when we stopped, they were trying to hold everyone. They were like, everyone, we're going to go out early. And we were like, she has a shoe that's full of vomit right now. Can we please get off? So we walked off and we found a little gift shop where we got her some new shoes. But that was it. That was the only bad part of that vacation. And then the last day was like a little bit stormy, so the boat was rocking. But that was it.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't gone on like a proper like, you know, go to a beach kind of vacation in a really long time.
Let's see what happened. On day 1, by the time we arrived, we were trying to check into our hotel and they couldn't figure out like our reservation. And the lady was being the most rude I've ever had to deal with.
That's awful. I always
she
feel
just
bad
kept
when I can't figure out a reservation.
She just
I'm
kept
like,
on going,
oh my gosh,
what's
I'm
your
so
unit
sorry.
number? And she said it about 20 times about like super fast. And like everyone in my family was like, we've been up since like 4, 3, and I'm brain dead. And they're like, what's your unit number? What's your number? Just tell me your number. And then we're all
I always feel like shit when I'm holding someone up on their reservation. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, you know.
oh no, she didn't say sorry.
Wow.
And she gave us the wrong code for everything.
That's terrible.
There wasn't a key. We had a number for everything.
Like being a hotel worker in like a nice hotel, like I hear people's hotel horror stories now, and I'm like, oh my god.
What else happened? My grandma fell in the pool.
Oh wow,
that was funny.
Jeez.
And it was funny because it could have been so much worse. She tried to put her feet in, and she missed. She just kind of fell forward. But fell forward instead of falling backward. So if she fell backward, we'd be in the hospital. But she fell forward, and all she did was destroy her phone, which is okay. She bought a new one.
Aw. You mentioned it was like a really cheap phone.
It was like an $80 phone.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible.
It was a grandma phone. It wasn't.
Well, still, that's a rough.
Little flip phone.
Yeah.
No, it was a smartphone. It was just an $80 smartphone.
Oh god, that's a little scary.
that's even worse.
I'm almost glad she got a new phone.
I'd rather have
She got a $100 phone. Ooh.
I'd rather have a flip phone than like a shitty smartphone. I don't know.
She doesn't use it for much.
Yeah, shitty smartphones are really insecure and like it's kind of sketchy.
Nope,
but
nope. Not my thing.
Nope. Cheapest phone I recommend is a Pixel 3a. And that's
3A? What's the A?
The 3a. It's just
ass. It's just bad.
No, it's actually really good.
Oh, so then
Yeah.
Not everything's about ass.
Yeah.
I know not everything's about ass. I was just trying to figure out a word for the A.
Apple's coming out with a cheaper iPhone soon, I believe, as well. It's gonna be like the iPhone 9 or something like that. So it'll be like
They're coming out with the 9?
yeah, they skipped it and then they're gonna go back and come out with the 9. But it's gonna
Why?
it's gonna be like the SE though. It's gonna be like a smaller like
I gotcha.
you know, which would be really good because they actually promise security updates for like more than a couple of years. So yeah, sometimes I like my parents, I forced them to get good smartphones, but I've had to support like my parents' friends. And like sometimes like I see like those like sketchy like
Shitty smartphones.
like no-name smartphones that some salesperson recommended to them that hasn't had a security update in like 6 years, and it's like, oh, and they're like, yeah, I can't load certain websites anymore, and like the certificates are gone on it, and I'm like, yeah, it's bad.
That's my parents' phone.
A lot of people have really sketchy phones, and then they can't figure out why they don't like technology. Well, you kids like the technology, but I don't like it. It's like, yeah, because you have a fucking 6-year-old phone. Anyway,
My parents.
Oh,
have
it's
an
not
older-
even just the phones. It's computers too. Like
Yeah.
my grandma had to call me over to change the font size on her web browser, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
yeah, yeah.
But-
My parents bought a smart TV, and I was actually impressed because they actually did a bunch of research before they bought it. But then I went over there, and the first thing I did was I'm like, okay, firmware update, and firmware update again, and firmware update again, and I was just like, yeah.
What I really don't get about that though is that you can type anything, any question into your search bar, and there will usually be a detailed guide with pictures on how to do most things that you want with a browser like Chrome.
Yeah, but there's so many layers to all of this stuff that especially if you're on out-of-date versions of things, it can be really difficult.
That's fair.
And that's kind of why I
Yeah,
understand.
my grandparents are on the most modern stuff, and I'm like, honestly, it's more important to just know that Google exists and works than ask me how to do things, because I don't know how to do these things. I was like, I'm just doing whatever you're able to do. I'm just going on Google. How do I do this thing, this specific thing that you want, and then I follow it.
Also, like, I was interested. I was talking with a couple of my friends about this, like the whole threat model concept. Like, there's sort of like a generational divide on like figuring that out. I've noticed, and it's interesting because, like, older generations care about privacy, but not in the same way that like our generation does, or the generation after us probably will, like because of the fact that they've grown up their whole life with Facebook. But it's like, my parents got a Ring doorbell, and I was like, oh, I'm like, are you aware of like some of the security issues that has, and like some of the, and like my parents, they had like never even thought of it. They were like, and I showed them like a couple articles, and I was like, hey, just make sure you disable this feature, and like, hey, you might want to use it in this way, and just be aware. And they had like never, and then turns out they actually did a bunch of research, and then they decided to not use it, after I mentioned that. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's kind of that thing where they're just like, oh, it's the new thing that everybody got. And you're just like, yeah, have you thought about the threat model of that? Or like the fact that it, need to update it and all that? I don't know. So anyway. I think that's pretty much it for now.
All my lack of sleep is hitting me like right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, you don't have to stay on the show if you don't want to.
I'm melting.
You're melting.
You don't think?
I've been up since like 4.
Oh God, why?
Why? Because my mom and my grandma was like, let's go to the airport at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And my first flight was at like 11, and I'm like,
At 6, they wanted you to go at 6, and your flight was at 11.
Uh-huh.
They could have given you 2 whole more hours.
Wow.
That's awful.
Yeah.
That's awful. Why do they hate you?
They hate everybody. Because they went to bed at like 8.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
So they were like, we're up, we're going to go. And I'm like,
That's how my family is. They go to bed at like 9:30 and wake up at 6. I'm like, you guys are crazy. I can't do that.
And then I
That
had
was
to-
like my favorite part of moving out is the fact that like now I live in a house with people who are up until like 3 or 4 in the morning.
I know it's great.
It's so much better. I love
it's
that.
great unless I have work. And
It's still
I'm
great for Paradox.
Really? I would actually say that I actually like everybody being awake longer than me because I really like when I'm falling asleep and I hear other people doing things. It's kind of weird.
No, that makes sense. It's a sense of I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Whereas like if everyone's asleep and you're the only one awake, you just hear nothingness.
But then I have the sense of being left out, and that makes me want to stay up.
Yeah, see, I don't
feel that.
I don't get that.
Nope.
Well, I love when I hear people party in another room. I'm like, oh, and then I doze off. Like for whatever reason, it works so well.
That's how I am too. At like family gatherings that are at my house, a lot of times when it's like my family, because my family is kind of I'll like head to my room and just kind of like, this is after dinner. Like I don't do it at the start of the party. It's like after dinner, after I've eaten, kind of food coma's hitting me. I'm like, I'm just gonna go to my room and sleep.
Well, there's also that feeling of like security and safety.
Yeah.
Because you're like just chilling in your room and like you've got your own little private space and like you hear everybody else having fun, but you're like, you know what? I'm in my room. And like, I feel good.
Yeah.
That's
No, I
kinda-
know that feeling.
Like, don't get me wrong. If there was a jackhammer outside my window, fuck that. But when it's just like a couple friends or like I hear like people playing a movie downstairs, I'm like, yeah, I can fall asleep to that.
Yeah. I just imagine you laying in your bed alone. You hear the faintest, and you go, "Yeah."
I'll just mow the lawn really early in the morning.
I wouldn't. It would
That's
not.
that's when your neighbors hate you.
That's
Not paradise.
But the neighbors do that more than us.
That would not wake me up. By the way.
No.
No, nothing wakes you up.
I know.
Except
I
for
hear your
apparently when
alarm from my room and it wakes me up
Except
before
for-
it wakes you up.
Except for when I like slightly crack open the door. I feel like so many times I'm like, and then you're up.
Yeah, like footsteps do it sometimes, but not like.
Although that's probably good that your brain is trained to like respond to specific noises like that.
I think that's most people actually.
I'm
I'm pretty sure there's studies that have been done on that like different types of sounds will like. It's not necessarily how loud it is. It's like like fan noise, for instance, won't wake somebody up, but like something very subtle that sounds like somebody sneaking up on you, kind of thing, will usually do it.
Nope. For me, it takes. Wake up. That's what it takes. I need someone like hitting me.
I wake up
almost.
before my alarm.
Or my alarm. My alarm is stereotypical movie alarm. That's my.
I wake up to anything.
I used to do that. Now my alarm is changed. It's the wake up song from Night in the Woods.
I know, it's so cute. We need to finish that. Oh my god, we need to finish
We do
that.
need to finish that.
Fuck.
Tomorrow we should play games and watch a movie.
We can do that.
Watch Sonic.
can
That'll
do
be good.
I gotta write lesson plans.
All right. Anyway, you guys are listening to FurCast Live on XBN. We're going to go on a quick break. By the way, we've moved the shout-outs all around. We've like...
You've shuffled them?
Well, not quite shuffled, but like we've moved sections, and we also rewrote some of them that we made the executive decision to just say like, hey, we could probably write this better than like what the person originally submitted, like just so it rolls off the tongue better. If anybody has any comments, any questions, if anybody is missing from the shoutouts that should be in there, send me an email and I'll take care of it. And that's pretty much it. We'll be back.
You're listening to FurCast.
Support for FurCast comes from Patreon users, including Shaman the Photon Wizard, Phaon, Energize the Wolf, Sweetie Darling, Barnaby Fox, Frost Blaze, Anu Fox, Omega Zai, Mullock the Generic Brown Wolf, Cypher the Heckmutt, X the Fox, Binary Paws, Fireline Coyote, Trinity Ware Fox, Lord Head Cheese, Biohazard, Code Yax, Fiasco, Tuki Ree, Lieutenant Fox, Calypso Collie the Fluffy Trucker, Mellow Wolf, Doxy, Zoopy the Barcode Kitty, Arceus the Tiny Tiger, Alta Shep, Cypher the Protogen, Meru Snowmew, D Otter, Ski Sharp, Nerd Hoof, Nether Lynx, Frost Wolgon, Jeb M16, Static the Scrap Goat, Taru the Yellow-Nosed Doggo, Cronass, Jax the Husky, Fuzzy the Fox, A Certain Horse, and Gaia Wellen.
Additional support comes from social media. Twitter users, Commander Wolf 3, Kazro Fox, XSS Fox, Drop Table Foxes, Perp House Tier, Anti-Blue Fox, Cody Boopers, Neth Goo Rat, Trash Danny, Onyx Fox 23, BBQ Skunk, Rivik Wolf, John Crescent, Kaz the Dreg, Nate Blueberry 13, Val Platagon, Jared Tamanya, Ziv Fox, Cyrus SL, The Other Commander Wolf on Twitter at FurWolf99, Brother Rat on Twitter at Ratus Spiritus, Zelig on Twitter at Stealthy Dragon, 12 on Twitter at The Lion Thing, Shua on Twitter at Pulsing Panther, Coda Winter on Twitter at DakotaWolf12, Telegram user, Sorcerer Dale, YouTube channel, Joe G. Bear, and the following websites: macrowolf.com, hurryhoo.com, hack13.me, superdwarf with anthrolinks.net, donutwolf at wolflabs.org, and Devin P. Parlett with furryhockeyleague.com.
Additional support for FurCast comes from Shisha Sheppy, Who's a Good Boy? Record not found in Table Foxes with primary key Dark Fox DK. For head bases and 3D printed goods, commission Tar Paw Studios at Alice Tar on Telegram. Silver Moonshine, maker of fluffy tails. Fisk McTaggart, will draw for food. Find me on Telegram at FiskFeline. Theix the Fulf, who says, greetings from South Africa. At AlecGator300 on Twitter, creating pixel arts and being a filthy hybrid since 2012. Tantru, with World and Rue View, providing fandom news since 2015. Spurigs, one of the only Ethiopian wolf degenerates in all of furry land. Kilo the Proto-Yote, who says, Jessie is the best kitty. Cody Big Cat, you know what they say about lions with big paws? We have big hearts. Light and Shadow the Wolves, keep furry possum. Patty, who says, what Socks says is true. Socks, who says, what Patty says is not true. For an invite to the unofficial FurCast Minecraft server, message at Sasha Hyena on Telegram. Shaktro, who says, have you heard? I like to raise the stakes. It's unbelievable. Hayes, who says, hoofs before woofs, Paradox. KobeCats.com. Take a bite out of art. We know you're hungry, so come get your paws and maws on a delicious piece of burger-priced art. Ryko's furry fortune-telling at its finest. On Telegram at Obsidian Fox. Saucy Fox, who says, I'm trash. Raccoons, HMU. Sheathed Studios, making pen and paper role-playing games for the furry fandom at sheathedstudios.com. Checkers the Dragon, chess is my safe word. Fishmeister Cod, still not a furry since February 2011. Nightly at snouts.online, who says, I want to see this community grow beyond meets and conventions. Permanent furry commune, when? Max Shepard, who's been watching since the Bacon Felony, Little_Sunshine, and Scootaloo with the unofficial XBN Xbox app at patreon.com/horseapps. FurCast's #1 wimpy fan, Tyler the Wesky. Shacky, the Maid Lord of Nordic FuzzCon. Visit the Maid Cafe at Nordic FuzzCon in Sweden. Chris Tale on FA, specializing in Toonie art. The Church of Yiswar, worshipping Lynx since the year Tuft. Skycorp, creating transformative technologies for mature audiences at skycorp.global. Discookie, creating procedural beatmaps for VR rhythm games. Kranos, who says Sergals are quite friendly and nice actually. Meds the Fox, and Mississippi Anthropomorphics. Join us on Telegram at MSAnthro. Techwin, TC Fox, and Kaiwana of the Infosec Den in Wellington, New Zealand. At Grundy the Goat on Telegram, who says, shout out to all New Zealand furs. Sylvan Scott, Grey Muzzle, Sorta Writer, and Tabletop Gamer on Fur Affinity as Sylvan, with size-related stories and other speculative fiction. Shadowclaw Studios. Check out our Facebook page for links to our gaming streams. The Feline Support Alliance, with a New Year's revelation. Why is Fur Cats hosted by dogs? Why is it, Paradox? We're all around you. Why? Check-it Airlines. We always land on our feet. Silvergatomon at patreon.com/silvergatomon. Cheetah Paws for a daily dose of bulgy arts. Support him at patreon.com/cheetahpaws.
And a very special thanks to Blaze Fusky and Decibel Fox. Support for FurCast comes through Patreon, PayPal, cash donations, and from listeners like you. To become a patron and learn more about supporting FurCast, visit furcast.fm/donate.
This is XBN.
What's up? And we're back. That was Best Fish Tacos Ensenada by Freeland off the album Cope. I love that album. What should I put in the title here? Because I want to change the graphics here to say and bam, we'll do that. Anyway, welcome back, guys. We got Maruski on now, by the way. You swapped out with Nico, who's probably gonna go crash because he's tired. So I figured, guys, we don't really have obviously very much news this week besides the Roundup thing. But I figured we should probably mention something that probably a lot of people would like us to talk about, which is the stuff that's going on at NFC. And let me just start by saying, is this a big deal? Probably really isn't. But we might as well discuss it anyway because it's been a big conversation on Twitter. And there's some interesting kind of perspective and some points. And I've been trying to talk to as many people as I can about it, actually, to kind of learn more about it. So I figured we'd kind of talk about that, as long as you guys are okay with that.
I'm perfectly okay with that, Mr. Parrot X.
Yay. Well, Maruski, especially because you're a fursuiter as well, and I happen to know that you care about your suit a lot. So
I kiss him. I tell him that I love him. Like I hold my fursuit head in front of me, and I will give him nose boop.
You give him nose boops?
Yeah.
So when you say you like, because I know you talk to your fursuit as well once in a while, which is really cute, by the way.
Yeah.
Is that like? Do you think it's like a separate character from you, or like a separate person, or is it like something you become?
I want to compare it to Steven Universe, but you haven't watched it. But I know you have, Bull. Did you?
Steven Universe? No, I've never. It's never clicked with me. I never had the desire to watch it at all. It was one of those shows that I saw a couple of episodes of, and I was like, it looks really corny.
There's a lot of stuff like that where I see it and I'm like, hey, I have a tremendous amount of respect for like this production, but I'm just not interested.
Like the show is really progressive. It talks a lot about mindfulness, meditation, free love, etc. So a lot of people who are artsy really love that show. Anyway, reason why I compare it to that show is the characters in the show are able to merge with another character to make a new character to create something more powerful, more successful, better version of themselves into a singularity.
So merging fetish.
Yeah, in a way.
In a way.
And I sort of see being in my fursuit as something like that. I am merging with my fursuit to be my true self.
Right.
Or I'm acting as Maruski, but it requires some sort of synchronization with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I got to be in the right mindset. If I'm too sick, if I'm too drunk, if I'm not feeling well, if I'm feeling anxious, I sort of get like twitchy desynchronization,
That's interesting.
Error in my head. It's like, oh shit, I am not communicating well with Maruski right now. I got to take off. I got to go take a rest. I got to solve this issue. Because sometimes when I feel anxious in a crowd while fursuiting because of I don't know. I feel uncomfortable with some people, or I'm not comfortable with the situation. I start to lose that connection with Maruski. It's like, hey, Maruski, should I go? And it's like, I would say, yeah, I should.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
Well, if we're on the topic of like what fursuits mean, I always see fursuits as like an enhancement of what that person would transform into should they transform. So it's like still them, but it's like I see the person in the fursuit as like kind of one and the same. Think about it like this way: like imagine falling in love with a werewolf, where it's like there's like them in the werewolf form is them, but them as a person is also them. Like they're a werewolf, and that's kind of for me like it's a blending sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm even as a human form, I'm still Maruski.
Yeah, I still think you're such a fucking cat. You fell asleep on the floor in the studio the other day, and I was laughing so hard. By the way, it was great.
I didn't even notice you. I remember just looking.
I've done that before.
Yeah,
in here.
In here.
Yeah,
falling asleep on the floor.
Yeah, I think once or twice.
That's funny. But all right, so to bring it to NFC here, so the big concern, the initial concern of this, has been about a quote unquote rule, and it is a rule, even though there are some parts of the wording say like, oh, we suggest or we recommend or whatever, I'm paraphrasing in that kind of way, but there are parts of it that are like, do not do certain things. And the first section of the rule mentions not removing your fursuit head, things like poodling, stuff like that, in front of other people, and saying to be considerate of those around you. Now, after that, it also mentions, by the way, your safety is also important. And obviously, if you were like having an issue or you were like having heat stroke or something, take your fucking head off. Like, don't, become sick or anything. So that was kind of the initial thing, and that's been a rule for a while. It's been a rule for a few years at that con, and some people have complained about it in the past, and it kind of every year it kind of comes back on Twitter. This isn't the first time that it's come up. But recently it came up because some person just took a photo of it and was like, this is ridiculous, and the tweet blew up. And then what made it blow up even more was another person got kicked out of like an event space or something like that.
Yeah, off a dance floor.
It was off of a dance floor. Now, that said, what was I going to say? The person that got kicked off the dance floor was not necessarily related to that rule. It had to do with some of the kink gear they were wearing, and that was actually against the venue rules in that space. So, for instance, at FurryCons, a lot of venues actually have rules about, like, you can't have, like, collars with chains. You can't have, like, exposed nipples and stuff like that. And that's not even really a con rule. It's more just, like, the venue.
Yeah.
There was another person who got asked to take their, their pup head off. And that was because there were kids around, because NFC does this thing, maybe not similar to Anthrocon, but they have like a public, like an open house day where like people can kind of come and like families gather stuff. So then it gets into the conversation about people saying, okay, well, they have every right to have this rule that people seem to be complaining about online. And then there's also people who say, well, this is also a cultural thing, because in the EU, people in that like part of furry culture are more into following that rule. They actually do consider that something they're okay with. And yada, 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 goes on and on and on. Okay, so where do I go from here? So I talked to a lot of European furs. I also talked to a couple furs from the UK. I've also talked to two Toronto furs that have been to Eurofurence. One Toronto fur who has also been to NFC before. I talked to a bunch of people. And there was a ton of drama about this online of people saying, like, how can they make this rule and blah, 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 blah. What I will say is this. I guess what I'll do is I'm just going to start listing off criticisms, and I'll respond to the different criticisms, maybe. I don't know if that's a good way to do it. We can do that. All right. Okay. I'm going to do that. So, one criticism is people saying, they have every right to make this rule. Vote with your goddamn wallet if you don't like it. Too bad. Or go to the con anyway and tough shit, right? Like, Anthrocon doesn't allow latex, and yet you still go to Anthrocon. So there's those kind of two, like, basically one half of that argument is suck it up. There's also kind of a similar argument of like, just vote with your wallet, don't go.
And puphood wasn't allowed until last year, wasn't it, for AC?
Yeah, and usually only at like a certain time. Different cons have different rules, and a lot of times it depends on the venue.
Well, even though FE sort of doesn't allow puphood until a certain time, doesn't it?
FE was the whole time. I remember I walked around the con floor and there were people in puphoods all the time.
Okay, I can't remember.
Yeah. So there are a couple of issues with that argument are as follows. So first of all, I don't know if it quite compares to like a little bit of an annoying rule, because this is a rule that potentially affects how you see furry as something that's important to you. Anthrocon is not a latex con, right? So if they have a rule that says no latex, okay, well, maybe I like latex, but it's not a latex con. Whereas this rule is something that does affect something that's important to people. So I feel like it's worth understanding that this is important to some people. Maybe it's not important to you. Maybe you don't care. The other thing is, imagine a kink con saying, don't remove your gas mask. That's kind of the level of the rule that we're talking about. So I understand why it's important to some people. Now, I'm not a fursuiter, and for me, does it really bother me? The second argument that I'd like to just kind of go against here is the people who say, well, vote with your wallet. Okay, I agree with that. That's actually a good stance in life. The thing is, though, if there is a rule that is deeply unpopular, now I don't know if this rule is deeply unpopular, maybe it isn't. But if you do have a rule that's deeply unpopular, it is worth voicing your opinion over, especially when this is a convention that is in an area or a region of the world that doesn't have that many other options, right? If you live in Sweden, you have NFC, and then you have maybe EF that you can drive to, with like a long, yeah, you'd have to fly. Sorry, that would be. Well, you could drive it. It'd be like a multi-day.
No, you would have to go over the water.
Oh,
if
really?
you drive, so you would have to go all the way up north and then
all the way down. Oh, yeah. Okay.
No, you would have to.
People in Sweden are gonna fly, but what was I gonna say?
So not a lot of options.
There's not a lot of options, right? Like, so for instance, if Foursquared came up with that rule, let's say, I'd be like, okay, whatever. I don't like that. I'm just not gonna go to Foursquared. I got like 8 other fucking cons to choose from. But a lot of people in that area might not have that option. So that's my only point about the vote with your wallet argument. You just got to be a little bit careful about that. If something is deeply unpopular, if Anthrocon has a dumb rule and nobody likes it, everyone should fucking talk about it. Yes, vote with your wallet, but like, if something massively annoys you or goes against the way you see how the community operates, you should fucking voice your opinion. And if you're in the minority, then you're in the minority, and then you voice it or whatever, right? And by the way, not to even pick on NFC, I have tons of fucking complaints about AC that I'm pretty vocal about all the time. I'm on Anthrocon's staff, and we, like the AV crew, because I'm on AV crew, we have written letters to the board of directors for Anthrocon to bitch about shit.
What kind of things are you like talking about?
Mostly stuff involved in running the event, things like...
Okay, I thought you meant
I
thought you meant more so things like akin to the
not like furry rules as much.
Yeah.
But I'm just pointing out that like part of running a massive event that is a part of a community is to have a discussion about this kind of stuff. And so I appreciate the vote with your wallet, but anyway, moving on from that. As for the whole European cultural differences, quote unquote, thing. As far as I can gather from talking to a bunch of people, and by the way, I would love to hear feedback, please. If you are a furry that lives in Europe, if you are a furry who is from North America or Oceania and you've visited a European con, please, I'd love to hear it. There are some differences. They tend to be a little more serious about the costuming aspects. There's more fursuit lounges. They've got more stuff in them. The cons are longer. But I don't know if those differences are enough to where you need a rule like this.
So I was thinking about it. I made an assumption that JMOF, Japan, they also had similar kind of culture.
Right.
Because from what I heard from my friends in Japan and Korea, they said they also take costuming aspect pretty seriously. And it's sort of like a taboo to take your head off. Like poodling, I don't know what their stance is for poodling. When I say poodling, I mean like showing your arm.
Yeah.
Showing your legs. But I know they're pretty culturally against like taking your head off while you're full suiting.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that was a rule or not. I just knew that was a taboo.
I do see it as like kind of odd when like a suitor takes off their head like in the middle of the regular con space. Like it is kind of like.
But like I could see.
But I don't care
if it was like just suggested. Like, hey, consider those around you before like taking apart your costume.
Yeah.
You don't even need to say removing your head. Just saying like, hey, before you take apart your costume or whatever. But the other thing is that, and by the way, there's part of it that is worded that way, but there's also a rule in, I believe, the con book that actually is like very like hard, don't do this. And then followed by your safety is important, which by the way, the your safety is important should go first. Just saying.
You mentioned that they have like open house hours or open house days. It would have been a little bit more understandable if they said, this is the time when the public's going to come and this is the kind of image that we want to show to the public. And so we would be happier if people didn't take off their suit while during the public visit. If that was their intention, it's like, so be it. And also, if they also said, oh, if you are not comfortable with that, just go to the other area where public won't be.
Yeah.
If that was the case, it would have been like, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, but the rule is entirety of the con.
Yeah. It's not like, well, I mean, it depends on which part of the rule you're talking about. There is part of it that is more like, hey, just be aware of the people around you. But so a couple things on that. So one, when people say poodling, one thing that bothers me is you're assuming that everybody's costume is a standard fursuit. Like,
yeah, some people only have partials.
Some people only have partials. Also,
and they don't want to wear long sleeves every time they're partialing or something like that.
Also, like if I'm a satyr or whatever, or if I'm like some other fantasy creature that isn't a standard fursuit that maybe has skin. Like, for instance, I happen to love like satyrs and centaurs and stuff like that. I've actually thought about getting like just a bottom half fursuit. But then, now, many people would say, well, that doesn't come from the poodling argument because that's your character. We're talking about when you are like taking your character apart.
But then why does it matter?
Yeah, and then that's part of the argument is also like, this is my place where I just go to be myself. Why are you telling me?
It's my place where I go to have fun with my costume that I purchased, that I made, that, it's my possession. It's not something that...
My persona is halfway transition between furry and human, so I'm always in the half state.
Well, I love that, though. Like, I love, like, half-transformed stuff.
My Sona recently changed. They shaved.
Well, I don't know, but...
Or a Sphinx cat.
That's the canon.
The naked cat.
Yeah.
So the last thing that I want to bring up, because this one bothers me on a different level. The last argument I want to bring up is the think of the children argument. And...
Yeah.
And so we're going to have different perspectives on this, which is really good. This has always bothered me because I fucking hate when people assume what kids do and don't give a shit about. And when I was a child, personally, and I know I'm a weird kid. I'm probably weird. But when I was a kid...
You were.
I was a weird kid. Let's just be honest.
But so was I, and so was Maruski, and so was Nico, and so every one of us that's here, because we're all weird.
When I was a kid, I was horrified of mascots.
I was too.
And the reason I was horrified is because I felt like there was this weird barrier between me and them, and I didn't know who they were. I didn't know what they intended, and it was like I knew there was a person inside. Right, and keep in mind, I was a kid who I hated Santa Claus, I hated the Tooth Fairy, I hated all that shit. Because to me, it was just this frustrating barrier between me and adults where they would fucking lie to me all the time about all this shit. And I was like, no, just fucking tell me what this is. And my whole life, I'm like... Sorry, I'm getting a little personal here. My whole life growing up, because I was a nerd, I always felt like I had so many questions about reality, and I would always get shut down on those questions. And I know not every kid is like that. But if a mascot suitor at Disney or wherever had simply taken their head off and walked up to me and just shook my hand and be like, hey, what's up? You enjoying the park? I would have
that
been
would be so magical.
So much more comfortable. I'd be like, oh, it's a guy. Hey, he introduced himself to me. I know who you are.
He's smiling.
Hey,
Look
wow.
at him.
Cool costume. Hey, that's cool. Like,
put on the head again. Be Donald Duck.
Like,
we'll take a picture together. You know what I mean?
Like, it, and I just...
No, I totally get that.
It bothers me.
Like, meeting a mascot in person, like face to face, I feel like that'd be a really cool moment if I were a kid.
Yeah. And I get that that's like not every kid. Like some kids, if a fursuiter pulled their head off, they'd be like, maybe the kid would be like, yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, maybe for that family event thing, okay, have that restriction or be like, hey guys, in front of the crowd, hey guys, fursuiters, before we go outside and say hi to everybody, just be a little cautious about this. We don't want to freak out any kids. We don't want to whatever. But
it's a furry convention space.
I guess what bothers me is like, listen, I don't like hip hop, but I wouldn't make it a fucking rule that people can't play hip hop at a con. Even if that is a cultural thing, even if it's a popular thing that people don't like it. I just don't. A suggestion is one thing, but to put a rule that says you can't do it first and then put the for your safety thing after that, again, does any of this matter? Probably not very much. I had many people tell me they've had a great time at NFC and they don't really enforce it, and the people who did get kicked out of the event, that was for a different reason. So who cares? Just shut the hell up. And maybe they have a point. I don't know. So that's pretty much it.
No, I agree.
My perspective. And I don't know, I'm a fucking gross American. So
yeah, I feel like...
Why does being an American, like, immediately make you gross, though?
Well, and by the way, when I say American, I mean North America. And, like, I've also... Well, I'm about to go to Furdu, but I've also been to New Zealand. And, like, I don't know, sometimes people are like, man, there's all these cultural differences. And I'm like, really, though?
Well,
and
you've mostly been to, like, English-speaking countries.
That's true. That's
like,
true. I have only been English-speaking.
Yeah, like... I think we are stuck in an Anglo echo chamber, even within the fandom.
Yeah, we probably are.
Yeah, because like right. I'm sure there are like people in France and Germany talking about this topic right now, as of this moment.
Yeah.
But in French and German or Swedish, and we don't know about it. So it would be nice if someone who speaks those languages can actually post it in the chat, give us an update.
Yeah.
Yeah, but. I don't know. I didn't want to put too much energy into like making an argument on Twitter because it felt like it occurs.
Well, and
every year.
And this is me personally, and this is my fault for feeling this way. Like, don't get me wrong. When I say what I'm about to say, I want everybody to know. Like, I am aware that I am playing victim really hard, and it's fucking dumb. But I'm just gonna say it anyway. As a culture, especially for new people coming in, but also as people who have been here for a long time. I've been a furry for 11 or 12 years. When we as a culture put so much weight on this thing, right? People take fursuiting really seriously. And that's really awesome. But it can also make it really intimidating for somebody who's new or for somebody who's not sure about it.
Yep.
And I have always felt that way about fursuiting, going to be honest. Like, I've always kind of been like, should I get a suit? Like, I don't know. Like, would suiting mean the same thing to me as it does to somebody else?
Am I dedicated enough to it?
Right. And
I don't feel that way because I know personally, like, I see it as like a self-expression and a performing art. I don't see it as like this like transformation where you become something because it's just what you like. It's just what you put yourself out as. That's what you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do see it as a performing art.
Yeah. And of course, most people would say, of course it's for you personally, and you should fursuit however the hell you want. Of course. And I agree, obviously. But then when it comes to these discussions and this stuff about cons and everybody's bitching and arguing about it, and then, we just have a different cultural preference. And I'm like, well then, would I fit in with that culture or should I avoid it?
Yeah, it could be
like it's kind of alienating a little bit because it's like I'm kind of sitting here going, maybe I don't take this as seriously as they do, and so I should let them have their fun, and
I don't think it's a you problem. I think it's people holding it to be too sacred. Honestly. I feel like people hold it on way too high of a pedestal.
I mean, sure, but because I'm a dirty American, I don't want to enforce my view on, like, because obviously, like, it can, like, you can run a private event and you can make it whatever the fuck you want, right?
Yeah.
And that was the people's argument. Oh, well, it's their right, and they can make the event whatever they want, and everybody at the event doesn't seem to have a problem with it, which doesn't seem true, but that's the thing is, it's just like, well, then, okay, have fun, guys. And I do know a lot of people, maybe not even this issue, but people who basically are furries, but they don't go to cons or they don't participate because they are intimidated or because they are, they don't feel like they...
Yeah. Okay, here. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go.
When I find some furs off Howler, some website, some group chat, and like, do you go to fur meet or do you go to fur events or do you go to FurCon? And it's like,
no.
Their response, I'm
not going to until I get a suit.
Yeah, no, that, and I don't have a suit. It's like, you don't have to have a suit to go to a FurCon or fur event or fur meet.
I've gotten that so many times.
Like,
that's
okay.
true.
Yeah,
that's really relevant. And I don't know if you've encountered that because I don't know how many new people you talk to.
I encounter it all the time. And by the way, that's why I'm so grateful that I have been able to make all of the friends that I have and go to these events that I have without a suit. I still don't admit. And there are some people who say, of course you don't need a suit. And then there's of course people who are saying, why do you even care so much? This rule isn't even. Of course you can go to NFC without a suit. Yes, but I think the point we're trying to make though is that the community places so much weight on this that it's fucking intimidating. And I know that that's just something I should just be able to get past and be like, fuck it, I'm going to do this for me. I know. But
and you should.
And I should. But goddamn, do I have to admit there are times where I sit in my room and go, I don't know if I fucking fit in.
Come on.
Are you kidding me?
With
what the hell?
Not with regular furries, but like, I mean, with fursuiting, I mean.
Oh, okay. I was like, are you kidding? I thought you were referring to like regular fur. No. I was like, are you shitting me? I was like, oh my God.
No. And again, this is a very much more personal. This isn't necessarily me trying to. What I'm saying right now is less to do with NFC and more to do with just general.
Paradox. Like, we got a mersuit.
We do need a mersuit.
Yeah.
That would probably make me feel better.
Yeah. I think it's a step forward.
If it was like your own personal thing that you enjoyed and had fun with, like on your own.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Kaiwana says, I'd say AU/NZ are more laid back than the US.
Probably.
So there you go. Yeah. Like
I don't know.
I've noticed zero differences.
In general, as people, I feel like they're more laid back than Americans.
Yeah. But again, like, even if there is like a scale of everyone's opinion in a certain region is like slightly different, besides the venue rules, besides like local, like that hotel or that city or like the rules of like how people conduct themselves, besides that, does it need to be a rule? That's kind of what I don't understand. It's like, I totally see saying, hey guys, be considerate. But I don't see like a do not.
Do not dare show your
Do not
skin.
dare.
Do not dare show your skin.
We North Americans wouldn't allow in our FurCon, but is common in like European or other country FurCon.
Really quick, I also just want to mention, multiple people have said to me, oh, well, they're not enforcing it. Okay, great. But it's still in the fucking rule book.
Yeah, but then why it has to be written in black and white?
It's just, I don't know.
I want to think about the reverse. Like, what are things that we don't allow as North American cons that are, like, so acceptable in, like,
that we don't allow? I don't know if there's very much.
I might be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure one thing would be open display of adult art.
At FurCons.
North American culture, I would say, is probably more prudish. Now, I don't think furries here are more prudish, but I think like in terms of like what we think is okay to do in a public space, I feel like we're a little more nervous about like we're a lot
even
more
casual
restrictive.
nudity.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I would say that's probably a difference. And again, are furries any different? Probably not. I think it's more like
because we're so interconnected. Like we're interconnected with people from all over the place.
What I mean though is that let's say we enforce a rule. Let's say a con doesn't even allow adult stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think that that's probably more to do with everybody who lives here and their perception at what is acceptable to do in a public space, not necessarily because furries here are any more or less into adult things.
Well, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like for instance, at a Japanese furry con, let's say they treat something like that a little differently. Yeah. That might have less to do with what those people are into privately and more to do with what they perceive as acceptable in their society that surrounds them.
Yeah, societal.
Right. It's the societal pressure that kind of affects. Yeah. I assume. I don't know.
You don't know?
Like my Russian fur friend, he's in like a Russian Discord or Russian game server and whatnot, and he's still slightly afraid of posting, gay furry art even in the gay like a furry game server.
Yeah,
because societally, it's still somewhat like taboo-ish.
There's that internal dilemma of I know this is bad because it's what I've been told for so long, and I can't do it, even though I know that it's fine.
And there will be some sort of resistance, maybe 20-30%. But it will be, okay-ish. But you still have that fear, or he has that fear. Of, like posting. gay
Well,
furry art in that server.
And there's a lot of like, it's always in the back of your mind when you are, even if you are being yourself.
Yeah.
Great example. Toronto Pride. There were people that were livid, absolutely livid, that there were kids at Toronto Pride, while there were also people in Pup Stuff and in like there was a nudist group and everything, and they were like, how could a parent bring their kid to that? And it's like
because it doesn't matter.
Because of the context. Yeah. It's a celebration of love and sex. The kid's not going to light on fire. But like people literally were like just livid. Now, should you let your kid, with no supervision, just go on the internet and find porn? No, probably not. Should that kid be doing sexual things as adults? No, absolutely not. That's very risky.
Wait, I wish. Oh, sorry.
But I'm just making the point that like context matters, I think, a lot for like what kids are going to be able to handle too. And it's like some people think that like if a kid sees a pup hood, they're going to like light on fire, and it's like no. Like it's fine. It's just a rubber mask. And even if it's sexual to you, that doesn't mean that like a 10-year-old is going to make that same association. They probably won't think of it that way at all. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I was 10, sex was like, ew, I don't want to think about that.
No, for me it was the same, but I think that's because for me I learned it as straight sex, and I was like, ugh, and I strayed so far away from that.
But like if I saw like a rubber suit or whatever, like even if I thought it was weird,
I'd be like, that's cool.
Or even if I was scared of it, I'd be like, oh, it's a little weird. But like I'm not gonna it's not gonna like destroy my fucking moral compass as a 10-year-old. Like
see, I saw that kind of thing as cool. There was this one book that I was reading when I was like in middle school, and it had a lot of like fantasy goo TF kind of stuff, and it wasn't like in a sexual sense, but I was like, oh, this is cool. I like, and you know what I mean? Like obviously that grew into something different, but I feel like people, if they see something that it doesn't come off as sexual. I feel like it just comes off as, oh, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Even if it's something that they might see as sexual, like in the future.
Well, and the other thing is you could just tell your kid, you could just say, hey, we're going to this parade, and it's a celebration of the human body. So just so you know, like, there's going to be naked people. Is that okay? And, like, make sure that and then that's it. The kid's fine. They'll probably be happy that they're being included.
So, for me, when I was younger, like, sex was presented as something that you should avoid. It's a dangerous thing.
It's dangerous, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I went out searching for my own answers online and came across, like, porn when I was 13, I think.
Yeah.
And I think I rather got a wrong impression or wrong idea of what sex could be. Like when you find porn online, you don't come across anything romantic.
Yeah.
It's usually like,
it's almost scary.
Yeah, scary
sometimes when you
visually,
first,
like it tries to be visually as like appealing as possible. And I think that rather gave me a wrong idea as to what sex could and means to a lot of people. I wish there was rather supervised introduction to.
Yeah.
Like if I went to Pride when I was 13, I would have had better understanding of like what sex and love are.
Well,
and they are something that you join together.
Well, the thing is, when you're at that age, what they teach you is the facts. They teach you that males and females reproduce.
Yeah.
They teach you about STDs and how you're gonna die if you have sex.
Yeah.
And they, eventually you come to your own terms and look for your own answers, and you find porn, and it seems like this crazy, wild, insane thing that you kind of want to avoid. Well, and that's all the knowledge of sex that you have until you realize what it actually is, like later down the line. But there's that fear.
Yeah. And by the way, what we're talking about right now might also be something that is unique to our kind of Western North American culture.
True.
Because I know that is a thing here that like children grow up and I know people who thought they were asexual. They weren't, but they thought they were because they experienced something sexual. Not even underage. As an adult, they experienced something, but because they didn't know what they were doing and because they didn't know what foreplay was, they didn't know how to protect themselves, they didn't know anything.
Yeah.
They had a horrible time and they freaked out and they, it was like, and I do think that is something that is probably unique to prudish Western culture.
Yeah.
That's a unique problem.
Yeah, I had a bad time my first time. I feel like that's true for a lot of people.
I feel lucky that I was able to lose my first virginity to someone
you
who's-
lost your Furginity.
Yeah, to someone who's older, quite older than me.
Yeah.
And more experienced. And like I feel thankful that I got to experience it. From someone who already has knowledge, who's able to guide me.
Yeah.
Like if I try to do it with somebody who was also a virgin, holy crikey, I think it would have went terrible.
I mean, it worked out for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But yeah, so
eyebrows were
yeah, so I mean, I lost my virginity to someone who was also a virgin, and we did it doggy style, and it was awesome. But
way to go.
I mean, my first time doing anything sexual, like not actual sex, that was god awful. Like it was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, if you put it that way, my first ever sexual experience.
Here it comes.
Well,
should you
go on?
Wait. Let me stop you. Should you talk about this?
I was about to say, is it illegal?
Yeah, is it illegal?
It's not illegal.
Okay, go.
Okay. Oh, I think I know what you're going to talk about. It's
very-
actually really good.
Oh, I think I know this story.
I think I know the story too.
The Canadian one?
Yeah. In the woods? Yeah. Do it, please.
Okay.
Please do it.
Okay, so I was at this furry event and I met this guy. He was really cute and he had a cat hoodie with tail. I was like, oh, I like you. And this back when we used to use Skype and Facebook to connect with each other, right?
Fucking love this story. I forgot about it.
And then when on Facebook, it said, hey, I really like you. We should go out to downtown Toronto and go around and like go snuggle. And of course, I was living with my parents, and he was also living with some normie roommates in a small apartment. So it's not like we could have gone to each other's like places and done stuff. So like, oh, okay, we'll just go out for a walk instead. And me being cute, I baked him some cookies, and I brought a thermo of coffee. I think we went, and we walked around a trail. It was really snowy.
Oh God!
It was cold.
It was cold, and
minus 15.
It was cold. He walks out, and his balls just right in.
Yeah, and we walked up this mountain. You know that hill right by that Don Valley Parkway Highway?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we went up there, and we found this one hole. Like it was concrete hole. I think it was some sort of maintenance.
And
hole.
they fucked in the hole.
And we just sat on it, and it was covered in snow too. We brushed it off with our gloves, and he was like, "Oh, sit down here." It's like, "Okay," and he unzips my pants and like starts licking it. It's like, "Oh, I like it," but my balls are like all the way up in my pelvic.
And since it's cold, like since it's cold, like, and he's licking your dick, it like starts steaming up a little bit. You're looking at your dick steaming like it's a like it's a hot dog off the roller.
It's like, oh, it's really nice, but the problem was it was cold, it was horrible, and
you got frostbite on your ass.
Yeah, and I don't know. It was like I wish I could reverse that first experience, like first sexual experience.
Yeah. Well, that's.
You're gonna continue that story?
What more is there? To
Oh, I thought there was more.
Oh no, it was just yiff in snow. You know, I come across a lot of yiff art of like two huskies like banging in the woods in the middle of winter. I can't paw off to it because like it's cold, man.
That's.
I have a friend who's turned on by the cold though. Right. On the flip side, some people really like that apparently, which I didn't know.
Yeah, and there was this one like a Bad Dragon toy, and back when they used to post stories and characters, right? I think there was this one fleshlight named Shasha, and the whole story goes like, "Oh, you're like a dog sled," you know.
Yeah, I have no clue about that.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know anything about
But yeah, my one friend, he loves the cold. He said one time, it was like winter, and they were like fucking in the back of this car, and he intentionally left the windows cracked so it like was cold because he liked it that way. And I was like, what the
Well, I could kind of see if somebody doesn't like sweat.
No, not sweat, like cold, literally like 30-degree cold.
Oh, God. That, by the way, that's below freezing for Celsius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like -1.
Yeah. Because 30 Celsius is like a hot summer
I have
day.
another friend.
Yeah.
I have another friend. You
Yeah.
met Tail. I'm gonna call out Tail right now.
Yeah.
He gets turned on by cheese.
Huh.
Like dick cheese or
like,
cheese?
No,
cheese?
not dick cheese. Dick cheese is disgusting. Regular cheese. He eats cheese, and I shit you not, he pops a boner like consistently.
That's
if it's like a sharp cheese that he really likes, and like we went to the supermarket because I was like, "There's no fucking way you are shitting me," and we didn't, and I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but apparently it's a thing. I looked it up. Apparently it's a thing where people they have cheese that they like and they pop boners and they just they get turned on by it. So his boyfriend always jokes about him. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna get a fondue like fountain and I'm gonna dip my dick in it and then we're gonna." And then he was like, "Honestly, I'd fucking love that."
Wow.
Yeah, Tail. He's interesting. I love him.
I don't know.
though.
I guess our only point here is that
fucking dick cheese.
Well, we got to consider everybody around us. I think the important thing is that I wish people wouldn't assume so much about what kids can or can't handle or what other people around them can or can't handle. And when you make a rule that dictates how people express themselves at a convention for that, by the way, it's not like, a random rule. It's like, no, this is a rule that is at the core of what people are doing at this event. I understand the concern, and I also understand the vote with your wallet argument as well, and that's why I will be voting with my wallet. And by voting with my wallet, I mean I don't have enough money to go to that, so I'm just not going to go.
Hey, you spend more money on the flight and the hotel anyway than the convention.
Yeah. I would like to visit a bunch of friends there, though. And like I said, by the way, if anybody maybe disagrees with us, or if you think you might have some better perspective, something we don't understand, something that we're just not seeing, please reach out and let us know. Because we don't want to be dumb if we are being dumb.
I want some European opinions, please.
Yeah. Well, it's twofold. I want to hear European opinion, but I also have to express that if what I'm hearing and seeing is the case, then it's a little. Which I imagine a lot of people in other places feel that way about like North America and especially the U.S. I know a lot of people who are very intimidated to come to the U.S. because of the way they think it is here, and half of what they think the way it is here is wrong.
What way do they think it is?
Oh, all kinds of stuff. Like the intimidation of getting through customs, to just like would they fit in, to like the fact that a lot of our events are kind of huge and overwhelming, to
Yeah, I'd be intimidated to go through customs too.
Yeah.
I have a lot of European friends that are scared about that specific thing. Honestly, I'm scared when I go over the border still.
Yeah.
And I've done it on my own.
Yeah, a lot of my Toronto friends are a little afraid of visiting me because of the bad experience they had with the border agents.
Yeah.
Well, because they can be dicks.
Yeah. Well, I think what's important
It just
is
depends on who you get.
You got to make sure you have friends in low places, friends in high places, and that honestly helps a lot. Like the fact that I was able to reach out to a couple friends who are like at NFC and like be like, hey, what do you think about this? Like, how's it been? And kind of like that's helped a lot. And I think that's important. If you're ever going somewhere or you're ever joining a community, don't be too intimidated. Just talk to people.
Yeah.
That is good advice. I feel like people don't put themselves out there and talk enough.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. People are like, everybody should shut up about this. It's like, no, like
let's talk.
Let's talk about it, but let's also. What is that? Is that like a podcast?
It's Rhett and Link's Good Mythical Morning.
Yes.
They always start it with "Let's talk about that."
Let's talk about that. Yeah, there you go.
I had to. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to distract. I know you were in the middle of a sentence.
Kale Fox in chat says the border has been pretty seamless for me. Yes, Kale Fox, you're also a white person.
It's sad because that's really
actually
true.
It's really hard for my parents to go through. They get asked a lot more questions than.
Yeah.
That's so annoying.
Yeah, it's bullshit. It is bullshit.
Like I know how to talk my way out. My parents don't. So
yeah,
it's, even for them, it's like they can be reluctant to visit me.
Yeah. Anyway, well, hopefully we haven't pissed anybody off. Hopefully we're like...
I hope we pissed everybody off. And that way everyone is still just...
Wow, these FurCast guys...
Everyone is still equally as pissed off whether we pissed them all off or none of them off.
Yeah, these FurCast guys are not reasonable at all. Man.
And if we pissed all of them off, that means we got attention. All press is good press. I hope everyone hates
Well,
us.
nobody likes us, but at least we got those views.
Exactly. We got your clicks, suckers.
You mean engagement?
Suckers!
You fell for it, shitheads.
All right. You guys want to call it a night?
Sure. That was sudden. You said we had a lot of emails.
Let's do that on a show where we got more energy.
Okay.
I'm just saying, maybe.
No,
I'm
I
just
got
speaking
you.
for
I got you. I do feel energy leaving.
Yeah.
I mean, not me, but like you guys. That's not to be rude. That's not to be rude.
I'm just hungry.
I just feel it.
Yeah, I could eat.
I'm just
I could do that.
hungry.
Well,
That's
we
why
can take some calls. We'll do that. Especially if anybody wants to call in about this. That'd be cool. Is anybody at NFC listening? Probably not. Call in.
Yeah, they're probably at NFC.
Yeah.
Doing NFC things like dancing.
And it'll probably be like 8 in the morning right now.
Oh, true. They're probably not like, oh, let's watch FurCast. They're probably waking up hungover.
That's true, yeah. Well, I don't know, because it's like, it depends on who it is. Because I know some people at cons who, like, they go to bed at, like, noon the next day and then wake up at, like, 5.
What?
Yeah, no, it's... People are...
I mean, I like events too much. I like going to certain events. I like going to, like, the Den.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, anyway, let me grab our outro thing that I always play. This thing here. Here we go. Anyway, thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for...
You're welcome.
For you guys for coming and being here.
You're welcome, Paradox.
Yeah, thanks.
You are so welcome.
Well, if you're really thankful, feed me fibs.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me, Mr. Host Man.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Love having you on. Hey, tomorrow we'll have a good day. We'll see
Tomorrow-
a movie. And
we'll watch a movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what my plans are for tomorrow. I know I have a lot of homework, so I'm just gonna see.
Oh. Well, keep us
Also,
posted.
Someone suggested the show title Queso Sexuals. I will just want to say that's actually what it's called.
Really?
Yes.
Queso Sexual.
I don't know if they knew that or if they're just writing it, but that's actually what it's called.
Quesos and quesadilla.
Genuinely, it's called Queso Sexual.
Okay.
That's all.
And that's FurCast, everybody. Thanks for listening. This is episode 356. I believe there's... I think there's an FNT next week, so stay tuned for announcements on that. You can go to furcast.fm/vote if you're listening live. If you are listening live, stay tuned. Call in. We'll take calls. Good night.